All right, what's up, guys? Thank you very much for joining us and welcome back. I'm your host, Stephen Norris, and as always, my co-host, Michael Dodd of Megastar Financial. And today, we are talking about buying properties as is condition. Now, that term is thrown around quite a lot over the last couple of years, buying a property in an as is condition. But today, we're going to talk about what it actually means. So, the very first thing that we want to tell you guys is when it comes to buying a property as is, every single state in the country is different in terms of how they define that meaning. So today, Michael and I both live in Colorado. So that's what we're talking about today is the state's definition for Colorado of buying a property as is. Now, that being said, we're going to hop into what it means from the real estate perspective and then from the lender perspective as well. So that being said, the contract of buy and sell in Colorado specifically says that an as-is property is based off of the seller's actual knowledge of any defects or material adverse things that might damage the property or the buyer's perception of the property. Now, that being said, there is only really one realistic way that a property can be sold truly as is, and that is as an example. If grandma lives in Colorado and the family, rest of them live in Kentucky, the grandma always flew out to Kentucky to see the children, and they never saw grandma. Unfortunately, grandma passes away. Now they sell the family property in Colorado. Those children have never been to Colorado, never even knew the house existed. In that case, the property really is being sold as is because they have no prior knowledge of it whatsoever. But as they find more things out about the property, they have to disclose those things to the buyers. And every single time that they disclose something, that now gives the buyers new information. Now, that being said, if you are a realtor who's helping your clients buy a property in Colorado and a property says, oh, we're selling it as is, don't take that as the seller saying, oh, we're just going to wave the white flag and say, take it or leave it. Not what that means. You need to be good enough as the realtor to understand, hey, guys, you know what? Maybe that really means that the sellers don't have any extra money to do repairs. And that's what they're talking about is, hey, guys, you know what? As the buyers, you can still 100% have your inspection, and we always encourage you to have the inspection no matter what, even if the property is being sold as is. So that little segment might just mean, hey, sellers, we don't have money to do repairs. And so your buyers can do the inspection all they want, but realistically, we don't have any money to do these repairs. So that's why the property is for us. We encourage you guys to have the inspection, but we're not going to repair these things, which obviously as the buyers, if that is the case, you need to make the conscious decision to say, hey, if we do find some things in the property from the inspection that's going to cost a chunk of change, you have to be conscious to say, hey, do we want to move forward or not? Still your decision 100%. But if you are the consumer, you have to make sure that your realtor knows how to ask those good questions, because I was even in a situation where one of the realtor clients we work with told the selling agent that exact scenario saying, hey, selling as is in Colorado does mean you get to wave the white flag. Now, this realtor is from a different state where it does mean that in their particular area, but they did not know that for Colorado, which after they explained that, they said, oh, really? That's interesting. Okay. Well, if that's the situation, I'll go back to my sellers and let them know that information as well. And guess what? Those buyers gave the inspection report and they got everything repaired per the inspection report. Now, obviously, everything is situational. So do make sure that if you are a consumer or the realtor, you say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Selling Agent, if the property is really being sold as is, tell me why that is. What's the situation with the sellers? Have they filled out their seller's property disclosure and told us everything we need to know about the property prior? Because guess what? That seller's property disclosure might tell you everything you need to know in terms of, hey, the roof is old, the HVAC is old, there are floorboards that are broken in half. I had cats, so the carpet's in horrible condition, or whatever it might be. So always make sure as the consumer you have all the information up front and that your realtor is able to ask those good kind of questions. Now, obviously, from the lending perspective, Michael's going to tell you a little bit about the things that if a property truly is being sold as is, or you as the consumer or the borrower of the loan has decided, hey, we are buying a property and is as is condition. Michael's going to go over real quick what that actually means from the borrower's perspective.
Yeah, so this is where it's really important, where the lender and the realtor really have a good relationship so they can share certain things about the different kind of loan programs, Stephen. As we know, predominantly most loans that we're doing are going to be either FHA, or USDA, if you will. It's a government loan. or it's going to be a conventional loan. So our big issues here on the conventional side is usually, what is the borrower putting down? This is a good time if they're going to be buying a property as is, if they can go conventional. And there are conventional programs out there that let you put 3%, 5%, 10%, and so on down. So there's a lot of different programs depending on which ones you qualify for. However, the ones that we worry about is when an FHA buyer is actually buying a home as is. Because on an FHA, on the appraisal there, the appraiser does an inspection of the home, mini inspection, if you will. And things have to be in a certain order. There can't be any health and safety issues. And what do I mean by health and safety issues? There can't be any broken windows. If there's a handrail that's going down and it's loose, it needs to be tightened. The heater needs to be working. Appliances need to be done. And the appraiser is going to inspect if he can get to the crawl space. He's going to take a peek at the roof a little bit, and he's going to mark those things down. So FHA loans have a tendency to be a little bit tougher to do on as-is properties. So make sure that you're talking with your realtor, and your realtor is letting you know, and your lenders are talking together to make sure that that home would get past an FHA appraisal. So if not, then those repairs will need to be made prior to that loan closing and funding. So those are the things that we really will watch out for as an as-is property on the lending side.
That's awesome. And I know that was a lot of great information from the lending perspective, but to wrap that all kind of full circle in terms of what Michael's talking about is that if you are going to buy a property as is, make sure that you communicate with the lender saying, hey, this is the property, this is the address of the property, here is the MLS number, here are the photos of the property. Mr. and Mrs. Lender, do you think that we should expect any problems from the appraisal? If it's a no, okay. If it's a yes, what are those? What can we do up front to mitigate those things? And then obviously as the realtor, make sure that the realtor is communicating with the lender saying, hey, I am the realtor. I saw the property in person with the buyers. I know for a fact that we will not, or we will have problems during the appraisal. It's all about communication, and it's all about setting the expectations up front. But with that being said, guys, we're wrapping up for today. And please put us your comments down below. If you like this, please do so. Share us with all of your friends and put in some comments of some more topics that you'd like to do for us. With all that being said, we'll see you guys all next time.
Have a great week.